Okay, so there's people here, they're fascinated, and they keep asking me about the story with the Yemeni being imprisoned for 2 days and handcuffed. Yes, he made very stupid mistakes, and we're laughing about it now because even Aish wasn't that stupid. He ran away from me. And his cousins, because Aish is Bedouin, Aish's cousins were entertaining me in Aqaba. But I recall when the four guys, when I was in the court and the doors open and I'm standing right underneath this huge logo on the wall of the government of Jordan. And when the door opened and these four guys it's getting dark here. So when the doors opened and the four guys that are arrested, and he's one of them, he's the second or the third one, depending on how you look at it. They're wearing gray long Muslim gowns. He's made a friend and he's giggling and laughing with the guy to his left, who appears to be the first one or the last one, depending on how you look at it. And his eye, the Yemeni guy, catches the logo and he's laughing because he doesn't like Jordanians and he doesn't like the government of Jordan. He's laughing hysterically at the logo. It's in Arabic. There's a logo and then underneath it's in Arabic. And I'm sitting right underneath it. So the second he sees me, he went from laughing hysterically to putting his head down, and he can't face me the entire time. He's sitting to this side. They put him the other side and I'm facing him, but I'm facing him like this. So yeah, the way he's sitting is to this side, but a little bit down, and I can see him clearly. And he can see me clearly, but he can't look at me. His head, every time I look, he's like this. He's far away. So for example, you're in front, he's doing like this and looking down, and he's murmuring. He's saying something in Arabic. It's probably some dua because he's terrified. But I mean, it's amazing. And maybe he was like that for like an hour, just trying to avoid not looking at me because he realized what mistakes he made. I mean, really, fathom the concept and the idea that, of course, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get you locked up or arrested for what you think you're doing with this arrogant behavior of yours. Arrogant entitlement that you feel you have.
Well, he was down for drugs.
Oh, Lord.
There was drugs involved with Breezy and Christine.
Well, this is why she's acting out like this. She's under the influence. And all this eviction.
Well, what is she going to do with herself?
Okay, so as you guys can hear in the previous video, because I'm a psychologist, I listen to all this stuff every day. And usually a lot of the stuff I have to endure, some of it's okay, but some of it is not halal. Okay, so as you can hear, she's saying that somebody in the apartment got evicted because she's involved in drugs. And I don't want to hear these things anymore, you know? So I'm working on... Do you like my eyeliner? I'm finally wearing the Saudi Arabian eyeliner. Okay, so some people are asking how or why Armenians are not saying anything about me converting to Islam. That would be going against being an Armenian that is a Muslim. Why they're not directly saying anything that this is not right. Probably several factors, other than the fact that I have mentioned in some of my videos my personality that doesn't let's put that aside. Politically speaking, there are many Muslim countries and groups that support Armenians. Okay, so it's never been a fight about Islam. Since there have been many Arabic countries that have saved a lot of Armenians in history, as well as the Chechens, who are very Muslim. So the Chechens, they immediately come to defend Armenia against Azerbaijan. As you may or may not know, Azerbaijan is actually supported by Israel. So this is a huge political joke. It's not a religious one. Since the wars, the Chechens have volunteered to protect and support Armenians. Also Iran supports Armenia in many ways. Iran is a Muslim country. It's a Shia, they're Shias, but they support. And there's other Islamic countries. Okay, so it's not a fight against Islam. Though Armenians are known to be, to preserve the Christian heritage for sure. But look at my life circumstances. Look at my personality, and you will come to be aware and understand that if you, know me personally, then it works. Okay, so in regards to going back to the Yemeni, maybe eventually I'll just say his name, but there were people, because I was posting videos from December 2023 and of him when he would try to call me, though you can't hear it because when you try to record it, and and then another time I believe I posted in February, he had this thing put in his mind. In the beginning when I went to that apartment, I made a video after and I said, if anyone touches me, or I'm going to get them into trouble. So he knew hands down that he could easily get himself into trouble, or I'm going to get him into legal trouble. And what did he do? He just kept repeatedly calling when I'd hang up on him, because I thought my first perception of him was that he's cheap, rude, disrespectful, but I didn't mind talking. Just because someone says that they respect you once or twice doesn't mean that they actually do. And the level of arrogance and egotistical nature that he has, when he knows, if he's watching me, according to him, he was watching me for a month on my YouTube channel before I even came to that apartment. And by that, especially during those times, I'm saying in the videos, I don't settle for people. So for you to believe, if I don't settle for people who offer me things and treat me well, and offer me a home or this or this, why would I settle or want to be with someone or marry someone who is in a country illegally, who escapes his family, who is smuggled into Jordan and is gonna get me into trouble for this, who is perceiving me and looking at me in a lens that's not even me? None of this makes sense. And so just as he was calculating how to speak to me, and his perception of me was so false because he has absolutely no life experience, I was calculating how I'm going to get him into trouble and when I'm going to do it. Okay? So that was my intention, realistically. Because he was getting in the middle of everything. When I was already in a situation where people had left, he was waiting for me to be vulnerable so that he could look like a savior when he is expecting me to save him. The typical victim savior type of thing. And no, that doesn't fly with me. I don't put up with that with my own family. I wasn't putting up with that with my own family. And that's why Allah chose me to become Muslim. One of the reasons why. And why would I do this with someone who pretends to be righteous? So this stage of my life is over. Astaghfirullah, forgive and forget. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Forgive, not forget, but forgive. Because it's a chapter part of my life. We attract these situations for reasons. Sometimes it's to heal. Sometimes it's to teach others something. Sometimes it's for us to learn. Sometimes we're helping other people. But when it comes to lawful stuff, guys, I'm not someone who's ever done anything illegally, and I would never. It's not me. And even the owner of that apartment, the one who died, the Yemeni was making fun of him. Horrible, absolutely horrible. Okay, the guy just died. Go pray for him, something, you know. But the other owner, the young one, he's adding me on Facebook, pretending on my YouTube first, then adds me on Facebook, watching my videos, sends me a complete irrelevant message, making it look like he knows nothing. And then he finally probably got the hint that from my answer, he realized that I know that they're playing games, childish, very childish. And so it's very clear to me that the entire apartment just, they do illegal stuff there. God knows, drinking, drugs, probably even prostitution, okay? And it's just, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to deal with this stuff. When I go back to Jordan, it's all about my Arabic and Islamic scholar studies. I'm not putting up with anything. Doesn't mean if someone strikes at me, I'm going to strike back, in a sense that to protect my dignity, to protect my name and honor, and to protect my physical being and well-being, emotional state as well. Like I said, I'll get the Bedouins involved. No pun intended, okay? Forgive. I forgive, but that doesn't mean... So that's all. I just don't want to speak about these matters anymore because it should be clear by now. So that's it. Verchatsav. I was sent a message when I was in Aqaba from someone that I knew in Iraq back 10 years ago. And he's like, you're in Jordan by yourself. Are you not scared? I'm like, scared of what? I'm more dangerous than the situations there. Dangerous meaning when a woman is very self-aware and aware of her surroundings, trust me, she could be the dangerous one. Especially when Allah and his 99 names is around her, protecting her. And so in my family, I'm breaking so many cycles. I'm the only one that's breaking all these cycles the way I'm doing it. If I decide to get married, because I could never marry an Armenian because they're not Muslim, I can't do it. And other reasonings behind it, but just on that alone, it's not gonna happen. Even before I reverted, I wasn't doing it. But if that's out of the picture. And so if I decide to cave into marriage because Allah wants it, it's in my qadr to get married, I'm the only one in my family who has ever married a non-Armenian because I'm full-blooded Armenian. There are no mixes in my family. 200 years ago in Anatolia, in my ancestry on my mother's side, okay, so 200 years ago on my mother's side in Anatolia, around the region of Sasun, there's a lot of Kurds there as well. Now it's all full of Kurds. After the Armenian genocide, all the Armenians were adopted into Kurdish families. They became Kurds. They married off into Kurds. So 200 years ago, before the Armenian genocide, someone in my ancestry, a female, was kidnapped by a Kurd and disappeared. Okay? After about a year or two, I believe 2 years later, she returned upon her family home and she was covered head to toe in black. The eyes are not even showing. She became Muslim because she married a Kurd, right? So she came to say she's pregnant and get a blessing from her father. And her father brought her in, accepted her in the home. At first he couldn't recognize her because he can't see anything. And she's saying through her veil that I'm your daughter. So he says, okay, come downstairs. He takes her downstairs in the basement. And when her body was turned around away from him, he took this heavy pot and he slammed it on her head. And she fell to the ground. Her and the baby died instantly. So it was the Ottoman Empire during that time. So he was sent to prison. And when he was in jail, the Ottoman government asked, why did you kill your own daughter? And he said, the family honor died when she was kidnapped, so I had to clean it up the second time. In Armenian, it sounds very different. But honor and reputation of the name was very huge back in the day. And my family is very old school. My family, they're all in Canada. They go by this. So according to my mother, she says this was another family, but it's not the truth. The truth is this was in our family. And my family operates this way. They live in Canada. They don't speak a word of English at home. Arkilvadze, which means you are expelled from the home if you speak one word of English in the home. The heritage is very strong. The family unit is very do or die. And so because since I was young, I've broken every cycle you could possibly think of and pattern in what is considered right or wrong in my household and what's considered right or wrong in being an Armenian according to them. Even though I'm the one who's living in Armenia and I'm the one who left everything, you know, and came back here multiple times to come back to the homeland, the motherland, the fatherland. All my old Facebook and Instagram videos used to be in Armenian. No, my family doesn't mix. My family is not the type of family that mixes with other cultures or anything of that nature in terms of marriage. And then here was this Egyptian, okay, that I sent to prison. And I'm pretty sure his wife and family gonna divorce him if they haven't already. And the landlord that I was staying in Aqaba, they're not actual Jordanians. They're half Egyptian, half Moroccans. They kind of lie and just tell people they're Jordanians, but they're not. They tried everything in their power to get me to drop the case, which I did, but I did it for Allah. I didn't do it for anybody else. And because of that, when I went to Amman to go to the court to cancel everything, it went in my favor, and I got the scholarship, and everything went in my favor. My family lives in Canada, and they don't even mix with other cultures for friendship. This is not the type of family that I come from. My family is a very close, tight-knit group of people. Doesn't matter where on the planet they go, this is how they operate. So in regards to the Egyptian, when he was maybe when he was a teenager, he got involved in some mafia business, and he stole or took thousands of dollars. He couldn't pay it off, which is very similar to the Yemeni situation. So the guy came back to get the money from him. He says, I don't have the money. So he got shot in the chest, and he was blown, because I know the story. He's got shot marks all over his body, gunshot wounds. And he's very lucky to be alive. And so Allah forgave him, gave him a second chance. And then here I come, and he tried this on me, a believer who had just fully announced reverting to Islam. And while he was trying to defend himself before he got shot, he was knifed all over his arms. And then he was shot in the chest. If you're shot in the chest, how are you still alive? So his father, who claims to be some Orthodox Coptic Christian, which it's all a lie, and he has no belief in Jesus. He's dirty person, dirty personality, dirty intentions, dirty heart. Treats women like they're prostitutes, treats pure women with good faith as prostitutes. He tried to ruin my reputation there. He's not even the owner. He just works below the apartment that I was staying at in Aqaba. And he tried to ruin my reputation in the entire neighborhood for what? Becoming a Muslim. And he, just the way he boasts as if he owns the entire neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And look what happened to his fate. He was sent to prison, and he'll never be allowed in Jordan ever again. So yeah, he was stalking me physically everywhere I would go, when I would leave, when I would come back in. He would manipulate the owners of the apartment. The owners of the apartment were never there. There's no reception in that apartment. There was Muhammad, who we kind of got him to become the reception, but he doesn't speak a word of English, and he fully knows the situation because he tried to manipulate Muhammad as well. Muhammad is an Egyptian as well. He's the only one that is kind-hearted in that entire apartment. But my point is, Allah will give you a chance, will forgive you. But when I'm in your life, usually I'm sent to teach people a lesson. My entire life has been like this. I'm sent to teach people a lesson. And because also I physically know how to defend myself and fight, he was in a state of shock because I had to physically fight. And so people like this, like, you can tell that they don't have life experience, or there's literally a mental problem that they have, that they think that they can, assault people or trick people. Here's the thing. All it takes is maybe 20 minutes of a conversation with me to fully grasp and understand that I'm not a woman that messes around. There was a few Bedouins that I spent time with in Petra, or from Petra, in Wadi Araba, where they were able to comprehend, don't mess with this one. Don't mess with this girl. She is not the one. This is another reason why Jordanians don't try me. They don't try this stuff on me. Because if you have any life experience and you have mental health that is operating, it's working normally, you just don't go around doing these things, especially to someone such as myself. No.